Yes, do it for the gram always. And one thing that we can kind of just test out as people start to filter in is if everyone can hear everyone or if it's just people hearing me, which would not be ideal. And also, I guess I can just do a little quick check and see if in fact we are streaming, as I suspect we are, but you know. Perfect. All right. All right. Hey, someone is saying hello. Okay, so this is a great time for us to check in sound-wise and make sure everyone can be heard. So I'm Michael. Anyone? Hey, Neko. Did you hear Alyssa, Neko? Hello. So if you're listening in, let us know if you can hear. Okay, not. All right, then. How about now? Give us some.
Hello, can you hear me, my friends? Laura, Neko, can you hear me?
Neko.
Are you out there? Are you out there?
Father, can you hear me? Perfect. And Teresa, could you talk a little bit? Make sure we can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Hello, I am here as well. Am I heard? Am I seen?
You are seen and heard. At least by me. I don't know. What about to the streamers? Cool. I'm going to assume that the answer to that is yes. Well, thank you everyone for coming in, for tuning in to an Ithaqa Call of Cthulhu Spooky Things session. Yay! I'm so excited to do this just because this is kind of like spooky Dungeons and Dragons is kind of how I tell people about it. Or if people don't know what D&D is, I say it's spooky open-ended Clue where you kind of just go off the rails. And so we are in the moment doing a Kickstarter to support our comic Ithaqa, which you can see here and also behind me, that Teresa is the amazing artist for and that I am the writer for. Alyssa has been a good friend of mine since college. We were roomies. I may accidentally slip up and call her bestie. If you hear me say bestie, assume that I am referring to Alyssa.
That's my nickname. Mm-hmm. We've been through a lot.
Yeah, there's actually I wish I had it with me. Maybe tomorrow's stream, if people are still coming and still care about us tomorrow. One of our really good friends made a calendar that was just it was just photos of me being like, I love my bestie, and then Alyssa being just like. And so it's a full year of like the most disseparate friendship level. Cool. So since people are going to kind of come in here and we're going to take some time, Teresa has one thing to do on her character sheet, which is that we're going to purchase her a rifle because Teresa's character, and actually I guess why don't we first just intro our character and briefly just, kind of what their job is. And we'll have a chance to kind of build out more in a few minutes, but let's just start with, your real name, your character name. And one thing I've been doing today that has nothing to do with anything is that, when I was being raised as a hippie child, as a young person, our check-in would often be, if you had a magic turnip, what would you do with a magic turnip? And you can do anything with a magic turnip. And so, of course, we cut the magic turnip in half, and half of it we use to save the whole world. But there's another half that we can do for whatever. So, I'm Michael. I am the keeper of this game, so I'm the kind of world. I'm all the extra characters. And if I had a magic turnip, I would make it so that Animal Crossing was where I actually lived in real life.
Wow, how is anyone gonna do anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, Alyssa, would you like to go next?
Oh, it's me? Okay, I'm Alyssa. A couple of my friends are here in the chat. My character's name is Barbara Kelly. She is a museum curator, and she's 38. And I already forgot what other questions you wanted me to answer.
That's all good.
Was I talking about myself or magic turnip?
Oh yeah, magic turnip.
I mean, Animal Crossing is like, that's pretty much all I would want.
Yeah, we don't have to. Yeah.
Be able to live in any video game world should I choose to go in.
There you go. Expand it out.
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I I'm Teresa Kieki, and I am playing as Steve Buscemi, the butcher. Is the turnip question for me or for Steve?
It's for you, but if you have insight into what Steve Buscemi really would have done with the magic turnip, I think you should roll with it.
Okay, I'll do both. So for me, the magic turnip thing, I would make it so that every restaurant and bar that I walked into would instantly play disco music. And then Steve Buscemi would use the magic turnip to make sure that any rival butcher shops in the same state as my shop would just instantly close down.
Just coincidentally.
Just happened to shut down.
Whoops. And actually, and as the keeper, I would add to that, and no one is suspicious of Steve Buscemi after this happens. Like, you get away with it clean.
Of course. Yeah.
Perfect. So real quick, let's give Steve Buscemi a hunting rifle, because as a local butcher, obviously Steve Buscemi is going to have at least some basic rudimentary idea of how to hunt. So the way we're going to do this, Teresa, is you're going to look at your 1920s Art Deco Call of Cthulhu character sheet, and at the very bottom, there's the weapons table.
Got it.
And we're going to put a rifle there. Let's see, what makes sense for... In 1920s, how about a bolt-action rifle? Does that seem appropriate?
I know nothing about rifles, so if you think that seems appropriate, then I think that seems appropriate.
Yes, we who are versed in the ways of firearms, we're such rugged individuals. Let's give you a bolt-action rifle. So you're going to write on the damage done part 1d6 plus 2, which means that if you successfully hit it, you get to roll a 6-sided dice. This is my spooky Cthulhu dice. And then you add 2 damage after that as well.
Wait, okay, I'm a little confused. There's 2 damage slots. Which one am I writing stuff down on?
This one here.
Okay. So what do I write down again?
You're going to write 1d6 plus 2.
1d6 plus 2.
You can shoot 30 yards. I guess that'd be range, I'm guessing.
Okay.
You have 1 attack per round.
Okay.
6 bullets in the gun, which would probably be... shots. You have 6 shots. It has 9 HP. And if you roll a 99, that is a malfunction.
Okay.
All right. So now that very basic degree of housekeeping is in effect, I will once again, and probably for hopefully the last time, but we'll see, just remind viewers that we are currently in the process of kickstarting Ithaqa issues 2 and 3. 1 year ago, we kickstarted issue 1, and we got it to have a shiny cover, and we got a barcode because we're real.
Wow.
And so we are attempting to replicate the magic and have another physical issue for 2 and 3, and to have more barcodes so that we're even more real than we already are right now. So with that being said, let us delve into the world of Call of Cthulhu and go on a spooky adventure together. I will pull up my little document. But first, I guess now's a good time for us to do a slightly deeper dive into our characters. So, Alyssa, why don't you tell us a teensy bit about Barbara Kelly?
Okay. She is a museum curator. She's 38 years old. Her museum, it's art and history, so she knows a little bit about all of that. Her knowledge is only 60. And her education's 14, so she's kind of just right on the edge of, she's doing it. She's doing her best.
She's average. She's extremely average.
She's extremely average, but she enjoys her job. She enjoys her life. She has a very important gala coming up during this time that we're also investigating spooky stuff. So that's gonna be like occupying a big part of my brain because can't mess up the scala. And one of my skills is crafting tapas because I'm really good at making like little snacks.
Yes. So absolutely, you have to make it to the finish line alive, because who's going to make the tapas if not Barbara Kelly?
Exactly. Who will make the gala happen?
Exactly. All right.
Only me.
Teresa, what do we got?
Okay, so I am Steve Buscemi. I run a butcher shop. Apparently, I'm very large, and I think that's mostly my hair. I think I'm actually quite average size, but my hair just accounts for all of my height.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through a lot of schooling, so like I have the potential to know a lot of things, but I think I'm quite dumb in most circumstances. And my only aspiration is to shut down the rival butcher shop, really.
Yes, actually, and that's a fun. So there's another butcher in the town of Ithaca, New York, whose name is Chuck Grimsby, and Chuck Grimsby's been a butcher here for years. He doesn't take kindly to other people, kind of step into his business. So with that, why don't I intro us? And so once again, this is kind of very much like a D&D situation. So I will be the person who lays out the scene. I will act as many characters as possible, sometimes poorly, sometimes with silly voices.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are free to do whatever and to push me to my brain's limit in terms of what you want to do. It's okay if we go off the rails. And we will end the session at 8, or I guess if through some miracle you either solve the mystery or die immediately, I guess we can end it early, but I don't know, we wouldn't want to do that to the fans.
That would be sad.
It would be sad. The gala would go unthrown.
We can't let that happen.
And who is going
the gala must go on.
And what is going to happen to the meat market if there's only if Chuck Grimsby has a monopoly on the meats in Ithaca? Nobody wins. We don't want that.
I won't stand for it.
No. Steve Buscemi will not stand for monopoly.
No.
All right. I'm going to do my best to be historically coherent, but you know something? I may be wrong on some dates, and I'm really sorry in advance, because I know this is the internet, and I'm going to get nailed to the wall for, well, actually. But we shall see. So, the year is March. The month already. Strong March. Start. The year is March, and the month is 1930. The stock market has crashed, and all Americans have begun to feel the icy fingers of fear in their collective bellies. It is obvious it will not be over soon. To make matters worse, it has been an especially bitter winter in upstate New York, with dozens of confirmed cases of vagrants, the poor, and the elderly freezing to death. This dreadful season has not only been historically severe, but unnaturally long as well. No one can remember the last time they've seen a clear blue sky, and the several feet of snow that blankets the city of Ithaca, New York, stubbornly refuses to melt. It is over this backdrop where we find our investigators, Steve Buscemi, the esteemed butcher of Ithaca, New York, and Barbara Kelly, the regionally famous art curator at the Ithaca Museum. Now, one thing I want to expand upon first is, how do we think that Steve Buscemi and Barbara Kelly know each other? How have they met, and why are they gonna, when we get into the action here, how are we gonna explain why they would even be together and working together? And
well, clearly, I'm working on my gala tapas, and I'm like, I need some primo meat slices, and I'm like, there's only one person I can go to for that.
That's perfect. Obviously, you are probably, I would assume, Steve Buscemi's maybe first or definitely biggest and most important client at this moment. I like that.
I'm serving dozens at my
You are my most important and perhaps only client. Because you called my shop an esteemed butcher shop, I would like to note that it's self-proclaimed esteemed butcher shop.
Yeah, it's like one of those shops.
I believed it, so.
It's like one of those shops where like it's like established 1978, except like it's 1930 and it's established 1930 on the wooden sign. It's a very aspirational sign. You're gonna be around forever.
That's all the time we have. We just started. Hey.
Exactly.
Early.
And what better time to open a butcher shop than in the middle of a recession, right? This is a bulletproof business plan. So one thing that we can steal. So another game that I like to run sometimes is called Monster of the Week, which has a lot of improvisational questions. So we have to establish some degree of that you are aware that the supernatural exists. You are aware that there's more to reality than meets the eye. And so one thing that we could maybe drill down into is a previous supernatural experience. Like why, you're gonna hear about some news and you're gonna immediately go, something spooky's happening. And the question is, what has happened to Barbara Kelly and to Steve Buscemi? Maybe together at the same time, but certainly at some point, what has happened to them that was spooky that would cause them to know something spooky is afoot again?
I think Barbara Kelly has seen a UFO and she's had some unnatural experience. She's heard things in the museum at night that she's like, there's gotta be ghosts. Or enough saying, there's gotta be ghosts. 1930s ghosts.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think Steve Buscemi has had some interesting experiences in her butcher shop. I think sometimes drawers are opened and my special meat cleaver is put in the wrong spot, and one time I could have sworn the steak was talking to me, but I also had a lot of ether to drink, so who knows.
You needed to calm the nerves, right? Ether's how you go to bed at night. Perfect. Okay. So recent stories appearing in the Big Indian Gazette have been picked up by the Ithaca Times. They concern some strange noises coming out of the Catskill Mountains at night, as well as strange floating lights, possibly UFOs now that we think about it. The latest story concerns the disappearance of a man named Bartley Hodges, the Ithaca Times' correspondent who lives in Big Indian, New York. Now, the last thing we have to kind of ask ourselves is, did you have any relation to Bartley Hodges, who's an old man and a newsman? Was he a customer? Was he a patron of the arts? Is there a reason why you would care that he's gone missing beyond? And we'll get to this. There's a $500 reward if you find him alive.
What does he do again?
He is a retired newsman.
Reporter. Maybe he's gonna report on what does he write about?
At the moment he's retired. He's just a correspondent living in the Catskills area who we call up to be like, so what's happening up there?
Okay. Would he come to my gala?
Absolutely. And actually he's a very
respected... maybe he was gonna...
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, maybe he was gonna write a little piece about it then. And so I'm like, what the fuck? I needed that press.
That's perfect. Okay. And Teresa, anything else? I guess you really are obviously invested in this gala succeeding.
Well, I was thinking maybe was he an active writer when I first opened up my butcher shop, and maybe he was the only one to take pity on my average meats and write a kind of positive review about them. Is that something
I like that? Done? I absolutely, that's definitely something he would have done.
Okay, cool.
All right, I love that. I ship that. So, So that is where we are at right now in the story. The esteemed Bartley Hodges has gone missing. There are reports of weird lights, weird noises, and weird fires in the Catskills Mountains. And the gala is in danger because who's going to report on it? And if he's not going to report on it, who's going to show up? And if no one shows up, who's going to know that the meats are at least mediocre, if not better?
Exactly.
So we're in the city of Ithaca at the moment. Some locations that you guys probably frequent would be the Bandwagon Speakeasy, the Public Library, the Ithaca Times headquarters where people, the journalists are, things of that nature. And obviously you guys feel free to talk to each other and disregard me and plan and do what you want to do.
What methods of communication do we have?
You would have Telegram, letters, telephone, and talking in person.
What about carrier pigeon?
Ooh. I think that was more of a military thing at that point, but if we find any if we find any vets, that's not off the table.
Okay.
Okay. And where are each of us right now? Are we in the same place?
Yeah. So would you rather start in the museum or in the butcher shop? Or you maybe we can ease into this by perhaps Barbara Kelly can go order the meats for the gala.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is I gotta order my meats right. Okay, so the gala's tomorrow. Um, okay, Steve, my gala is tomorrow, and I need some primo meats. I got dozens of people coming. This is really important to me. And I need to make sure that it goes well and that everyone comes. And my job's on the line here. And Bartley was supposed to write a little like puff piece about it and be like, "Oh my God, the Ithaca Museum was so cool. Like everyone should go." But now he's missing. So let's get the meat situation sorted, and then like the murder mystery missing situation like second, but like also at almost like gala and then like right here.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, meat is the priority in all situations, so I'm glad that we're on the same page.
Oh yeah, we always are, Steve.
Absolutely.
You know we are.
And I think this would be a good time to practice a skill check. So the way this is going to work, very similar to Dungeons and Dragons, I will roll dice to kind of convey if something succeeds or fails. And so I think I would love for Steve Buscemi to try and really sell the meats, you know, really talk up these meats. And what is your persuade skill, just so I know?
Oh boy. Okay. Wait, which one was that?
Persuade.
Persuade. Oh, it's 95.
Oh, wow. All right. So there's a good chance you're going to succeed on this one, I think. It's out of 100.
We're selling pigeon meat.
This is like Sweeney Todd.
Carrier pigeon meat.
All right, let's hear you really sell this carrier pigeon meat, and then we're gonna see the extent to which Barbara Kelly is here for it.
Well, listen, none of the other shops sell pigeon meat, and don't think it's because it's not tasty, because it is, and it comes with a little extra protein because there's like bugs like in their fur, their feathers, so it's really just healthy. It's has a little to it, which is good. We all like a challenge with our food, I think. So, and that's all we have in the shop. Really.
All right, you rolled a 15, which is a resounding success. So, Barbara Kelly, you are sold on this pigeon meat.
I'm sold on this pigeon meat. Let's get this going.
Do it up.
Do it up.
Beautiful. Now that, you know, the most pressing concern of how are we going to craft hors d'oeuvres for the gala has been addressed. The second question comes in, is this, you know, how are we going to promote the gala? And how are we going to promote the gala with our only newsman out missing?
Yeah, that's a big problem. I don't have any other connections at the paper. What about you?
Yeah, that old man really helped me out, like when I opened up this shop, and like for some reason all the other newspapers didn't want to like cover my meat store, so like
that's so weird.
I know.
He was our boy. Should we go to the Ithaca Times and be like, yo, where's Bartley at? And then also be like, can also someone else write about the gala? Like, it's like,
yeah, we'll come in and we'll be like real concerned about Bartley, and then like just be like, oh, we're having a gala.
So we'll also be simultaneously be alerting them of the gala.
Yeah, and then I'll accidentally drop my pigeon meat on the table. Be like, oh, what's that? This delicious pigeon meat that's gonna be at the gala.
Maybe don't like drop it because that seems unappetizing. But like if you brought some with you and we're like, would you like to try?
Of course, that's what I meant.
A taste of the taste that you will be tasting.
Is it already cooked, or is it like one of those like butcher things where you just wrap it in paper and you're like, cook it on your own time? It's good, trust me.
Yeah, I don't have time to cook meat. I only chop meat.
Yeah, you're a chopper of meat, not a cooker of meat.
God damn it. Okay, maybe let's not drop any meat anywhere. Okay, hang on to the meat.
Okay, right.
All right, perfect. So you both walk up to the Ithaca Times, and because this is the 1920s, newspapers are still important to people, and the building is very nice. It's beautiful, you know, granite stones. It's, you know, got the Ithaca Times carved into the stone itself. people are going in and out, doing 1920s things, being like, yes, I swear to God, say that, well, it's up on the nailed it. And that's what's happening.
Steve, I think this is the height of media and communication, and it's never going to get better than this.
I agree.
For sure.
Yeah, you guys walk in and you feel this sense of like, this will always be as important now forever. Like, it's always going to be this important, this newspaper building. In fact, fun fact, zooming out into the real world, in Hoboken, our newspaper is now a Soul Cycle. So there you go. That's what happened to these nice buildings. So,
at least someone is making use of them, I hope.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so who we got in the Times office?
So you see a nondescript woman at a desk typing away, kind of going at it. First, actually, let me know what you want to do, and then we'll roll for something else.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to go say hello to her and see if she knows anything about either Bartley or who we should talk to about it.
Gotcha. I'm going to have you both roll for your credit score, which to those of you who are listening, the credit score is kind of the stat for how respectable and cool do you look, and like should someone give you the time of day if they see you walking on the street. Teresa, do you want me to roll for you, or do you want to roll with your app?
I don't. You got to roll for me.
All right, cool.
I have to roll for me too.
Okay, both of you tell me what your credit scores are, and I'll roll. I'll do we'll do Dan Harmon way, right?
My credit rating is 85.
All right, 85. And Teresa?
Mine is 65.
All right. So Alyssa, you got a 22. So you walk in like hot shit. People are like, "Woo, the regionally famous gala. Regionally famous art curator is here." And Teresa, Steve Buscemi walks in. That was an 84, so that's a fail. So I'm guessing that probably like the pigeon meat that you've wrapped in paper, I feel like maybe you didn't you were not careful when you wrapped it, and it's soaking through the paper. Maybe you needed to use wax paper. You're still new to this.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi isn't the most careful, so that makes sense.
Sally Silk. You watch Sally Silk look up at Barbara Kelly, and her eyes light up. This is news. This is great. And then her gaze kind of turns and is like,
with my smelly pigeon meat.
She's like,
don't worry about Steve. Don't worry about Steve.
What can I do you for, ma'am?
First of all, don't worry about Steve. Steve's just along for the ride. He's learning. Okay,
Is that eggs?
Steve, maybe you should stand a couple feet away. Maybe you're kind of.
You're right. Sure.
Yeah, I'll handle this. So we were wondering, if you knew what happened to Bartley. I heard that he's missing. There's some kind of reward, and he was supposed to write a little piece on my gala tomorrow.
Yes.
Since I'm curating a gala tomorrow, just so you know. But Bartley was supposed to write about it, and now he's not here, and I'm I was just wondering if you knew anything about what happened to him, or who we should talk to about it.
She goes, first off, I am so excited for your gala on Thursday. It's going to be, the talk of the town. We, Ithaca has needed a museum that was related to things other than just natural history. It's about time we joined the modern, world. Really got some art going. So thank you for the work you do. You really are regionally famous and have made us slightly more prominent as a city. Luckily, Steve Buscemi has stepped far enough away that the smell is no longer a problem.
I just want you guys to know I'm still holding my pigeon meat very, very dearly. Yeah.
She goes, well, I'll tell you what. Bartley Hodges was a good guy, and we really liked him, and so I'm really glad that someone as esteemed as you is on the case. And of course, we know that if you were to want to bring in the reward or bring him back, that $500 would be in good hands. Or she looks over to Steve, at least, half a pair of good hands. And we know that it'll go to the advancement of Ithaca's culture. So here, let me see. I can pull some stories from the town for you, from a big Indian New York.
Yes.
So I'll put this up for viewers to see at the moment. But then I'm gonna email to you guys, and if you want, you can either maybe read them aloud, I guess, just so.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I'm still learning OBS, everyone, so you can tell that I'm a pro. Alrighties.
Laura says get some smelling salts to mask the scent.
Oh my god, yes. Actually, I think definitely I'll be keeping an eye on the chat because people definitely need to tell you guys some pro tips. Alright. Alyssa and Teresa. This is the real amount of time it takes for Sally Silk to go through the files.
To type it up.
Yeah, this
This
isn't me faffing about. This is actually just, me perfectly simulating the actual experience. All right.
It's quite realistic.
Thank you. I've been practicing. Articles, they are sent to you. Or maybe I guess I can read them at the moment while you guys kind of peer over them yourselves. And you can kind of keep them as a reference point, as a series of clues for you to go through on your own as we have our adventure together. So, boop. All right. The first story says, Fire on Big Indian Mountain. Residents in the Catskills reported a large fire Tuesday night on the east side of the mountain. The local constabulary has been unable to locate the remains of the blaze, which apparently extinguished itself by Wednesday morning. No reports of damage have been received here from neighboring farmers or foresters. Ooh. Another story. A second night's blaze. Big Indian area neighbors spied another large fire on the east side of the mountain on Friday night. As the moon was up, watchers were able to get a better idea of its location on the mountain. Seems like things are progressing, maybe. Now, the next one says, strange sounds on the mountain.
Oh, shit.
Oh no, it's not just blazes, sounds.
Don't like that.
I know, this sounds a lot like UFOs now, honestly. I think this is probably this is probably triggering Barbara Kelly on some level as she's reading this. Another great blaze was seen Sunday evening. Observers declare that this time the flames seem to be accompanied by dull drummings or explosions of a rhythmic nature. To their evident annoyance, again, authorities proved unable to locate the source of these mystery blazes. And at this point, we assume this is Bartleby Hodges who is doing the writing. This scribe among them, certain residents hereabouts plan to deploy opportunely these next few evenings. We shall try to solve this mystery. I guess I should start leaning into Bartleby Hodges. All right, last one. Missing Ithaca Times correspondent. Catskills County officials report that Bartleby Hodges, retired newsman and big Indian news correspondent to the Ithaca Times, has not been seen since Tuesday night and is declared missing. Mr. Hodges is described as 67 years old and with silvery hair, about 6 feet tall, thin and spry, and a man ready of speech and wit. Bartleby Hodges is well known in this area as a convivial companion, a word I definitely knew before this thing, and an upstanding citizen. The Ithaca Times will pay a $500 reward to learn his present circumstance.
Wow. Okay. So he hasn't been seen since Tuesday. Is that in relation to the first fire on Tuesday, or when in time did he disappear in relation to the first fire? Because then it says the second fire is on Friday.
Right. This is the following week.
Okay. So last Tuesday there was a fire. Then there was another one on Friday, and then on Sunday there was noises, and then 2 days later on Tuesday that's when he was missing.
Exactly.
So this is like a week long. Okay.
Yeah, he's been gone about a week, we'll say.
He's been gone.
Time,
So
news is so slow.
Who wrote the other stories?
Well, the first 3 stories were him, and then the fourth one was the Ithaca Times itself putting the board together.
Okay, so he has not been seen since Tuesday, and it's now a week later. Okay, so the fire happened 2 weeks ago. The first fire. Okay. All right. So it sounds like Bartley was onto something up in the mountains, looking at these fires. Because if the fire went out by itself, that never happens. That's some bullshit. That's some alien shit. I've seen UFO, and this sounds exactly like some of the stuff that I want to know what these sounds are like. I think maybe we should go see what we can hear and see for ourselves. I don't know if the fires are still going to be going, but if there were sounds, and then 2 days later he's missing, and it's a week later, like there's got to be something up there.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. I do want you to consider the possibility of meat demons. I think that's a valid theory as well. But yeah, I think we should go investigate.
Teresa, I'm curious, what is your persuade skill?
95.
Are you committed to convincing Barbara Kelly that these are in fact meat demons and not UFOs?
100%, yes.
All right, let's see what happens here. All right. Well, why don't you lay it out for us, Teresa? Because I think you're about to make a very compelling argument to Barbara Kelly that these are in fact meat demons.
Oh my god.
All right, look into my eyes. So one night, I was drinking a lot of ether, but there was a pile of meat, not just pigeon meat this time. It was a pile of meat in the, I don't know, maybe fridge. I don't know if it was a fridge, somewhere in my shop. And I think it was speaking to me. I think it moved a little bit. And ever since then, you know, I've been trying to raise awareness about the potential of meat demons. So I really think this could be tied into something. I think you would agree.
Sally Silk leans in and she's like, "Did that really happen to you?" She's like, you can see that she's taking notes. She's like, "Meat demons, you say?"
Yep, meat demons. I wouldn't lie to you.
I don't know why I trust you, but I feel like I can trust you.
Do you see these hands full of pigeon meat? Would I lie to you?
She's like, you know. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, if there's ghosts in here, like around, there's probably pigeon ghosts too. So I wouldn't put it past. Or the ghosts, the human ghosts could be haunting pigeon meat. We don't know.
Who knows? I just know meat demons. That's all I know.
Okay.
Sally Silk looks up at you, and she goes, "You know, when you walked in here, I thought you were some weird slob with a soggy pocket that was red and smelled like bad eggs. But I can see that I've misjudged you. You've got your finger to the pulse of something, and I think that, look, I know you must be a busy woman, but if you ever want to try your hand in investigative journalism, I think you should take my card." And Sally Silk gives you her card.
And I grab it with my slimy hand.
Oh dear.
All right. Now, is there anything else you guys want to do here in regards to maybe trying to sell this gala, or you want to just move on and go somewhere else?
No, I think we're good here.
I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
I feel redeemed, so.
Yeah, no, Sally's gonna tell everybody probably, so like we're set.
Yeah. As you're walking away, you hear her get on. Right. Trust me. Look. Once in every reporter's career, you have to just go out on a limb and you have to take a risk, all right? And I need you to do this for me. This is that. I'm calling in that favor. I'm putting everything on the line for specifically the fact that meat demons are real. Trust me. If you heard what I heard, you would believe this. And do you walk out feeling vaguely guilty, or is Steve Buscemi does Steve Buscemi believe in the meat demons, or is this just a ruse? I'm curious.
I think Steve believes in the meat demons.
So then I think Steve Buscemi walks out of there feeling like Steve Buscemi's really the world slightly more right, you know, than
oh yeah.
Beautiful. You walk out onto the city streets of Ithaca. It's probably about 10 a.m. in the morning. We'll say, let's just get a specific line in place so I know when you guys decide to like kind of sleep or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Want to say it's, I don't know, Tuesday or Friday?
I feel like a Thursday or Friday night.
Okay, so it's going to be on Thursday night. I'll write down Thursday night gala. Let's say that it is right now, let's say it's Monday morning at 10 a.m.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so we're leaving Ithaca office. We're outside.
Mm-hmm. And the world's your oyster.
I mean, how far are the mountains from here?
They're about a 2-hour, maybe 3-hour drive.
Okay. What do you think, Steve? Should we take my Ford Model T and just drive right up there?
Yeah, I have some extra pigeon meat provisions in my backpack, so like I'm down.
We should probably grab like a little bit of other food. I can craft us some tapas. But pigeon meat is just not quite enough, I don't think.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. Do you need anything else to go?
Do I have my, like, I should get my rifle? How does that work?
Oh yeah, no, I have all my stuff. I have a waterproof blanket, flashlight, I have a Ouija board, so when we get up there, like, we can just see if we can talk to any ghosts or aliens or anything.
Meet demons.
Meet demons. And then I also, you know, you have a rifle, but I also have a 12 gauge shotgun, just like so you know, F-Fox ammo.
Dope. Now, Michael,
Mm-hmm.
do I have things? How does that work?
Yes. So the things that we talked about before, like the rifle, for example, that we just did, you have, but you have to explicitly tell me that you are packing or bringing certain things along. Like if you're like, I get out of the car and move on, I'm gonna like, unless you're like, I'm holding a shotgun, I'm gonna assume that you didn't actually hold the shotgun. Because if you go talk to the police station holding a shotgun, like that's gonna be kind of uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
So kind of spell out explicitly what you are trying to do and what you want to do, and I'll take you at face, value. There also are going to be shops, so if you get there and you're like, ooh, and you find out, I don't know, I'm making this up, don't think that this is actually going to be the cure-all, but if you're like, ooh, whatever this is, it hates salt is bad, let's go to the store and buy a bunch of salt, like, of course you can do that.
Yeah, okay, cool. So what you're saying is we should go buy a bunch of salt.
Hey, maybe I have salt because I gotta cure my meat somehow. So like,
Okay, well, I'm packing up my car with everything I have. So I do also have a designer dress, a makeup kit, and toiletries in case we get stuck for 3 days and like I have to get ready to go. Like I'm ready to go. So.
Oh, that's smart. You're smart.
We got 3 days. We got time.
All right,
Okay,
Teresa, what are you packing?
Okay, let's see. All right. I guess I'll pack like extra pairs of underwear in case I get real nervous.
Oh, wait, the fanatical nerd says you gotta bring some smelling salts.
Smelling salts, yeah.
Smelling
Okay, so
salt.
you do need to go buy some salt.
I don't go anywhere without a decent supply of ether. So we have that for sure.
Does Steve Buscemi like huff the ether, or what's the process here?
I don't really know.
Is it just like?
I don't even know, like.
Honestly, hey Michael, what's ether?
I'm gonna
phoning a friend.
I'm gonna Google it. Quick Google.
Oh, you know what I'm getting? No, is absinthe? What's like
the drink is absinthe. Yeah.
Absinthe. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I've been thinking.
Okay.
All right. So ether.
Humble butcher.
So ether, according to Google, is a smelling. It is used as an anesthetic and as a solvent or intermediate in industrial processes.
Okay, absinthe was what I meant. This whole spare pigeon meat. Maybe I have. Maybe this would be good to like jot down some stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Water, that works. Flashlight, just because that seems like it might come in handy.
It always does.
Animals with in case we need to procure more food.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking worst case scenario, which you got to do as a humble butcher sometimes. And I'm here to shed some light on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is actually a charity stream. It's not really for fun. Okay, so are you guys going to, you've packed the things that you've just described, and
Right up the Catskills.
Hey, there's a kitty cat while you said Catskills.
I climbed up as just in time.
All right, so you guys hop in the car.